Yeah, what's going on, y'all? Apparently we're live, but it's not really showing up on my YouTube. So, anyways, what's up, y'all? It's Bracket Bitches.
We both
I'm
did this twice at the exact same time. It's like we've done this
yeah,
before. We're coordinated. We're coordinated.
yo, freaking synchronized, man. Let's go
Yeah.
swimming.
Woo.
Come on, Olympics 2024.
Yeah.
Now what's up, y'all? I'm Tushka. This is Josh.
What's up?
Yeah, he's our regional expert. Really the guy that just doesn't have any time or life and just watches NCAA basketball all day long. But I mean, we're both big sports nuts. So I am a Big 12 fan, so I'm excited about this bracket. It looks beautiful. I want to see a Big 12 Sweet 16. We won't be able to get that, unfortunately, because they're going to have to knock each other out. But we'll get that to in a second, man. Josh, how have you enjoyed the basketball season? I mean, now that football is done, we got past the Gold Cup, which I mean, it was not good, so good for you. Is basketball uplifting your emotions and your spirits? And what are you kind of thinking about just the overall landscape of college basketball for the men's?
Well, I mean, once my favorite team is Louisville, so basketball didn't go too well. We went gentlemen's 12-52 for the past 2 years, so that didn't go so well. But once Louisville's, but I still paid attention because it's just what I just like college athletics and whatnot. But the one thing is I saw trends and a couple teams that I thought were going to be good at the beginning of the season. Hey, guess what? They're still badass at the end of this, going in here, and you really can figure out of the teams that you're thinking about. Hey, are they going to be good at the end of the season, barring injury, stuff like that? And pretty much the top four teams I thought would be here at the end of the season, and some of them are hitting their stride, like an Iowa State or BYU's playing pretty well. I'm just bringing up some Big 12 teams to give you make you overthink.
Gas them up, baby. Gas them up.
Yeah. But some teams are, what exactly they're going to be doing with the Tennessees and Kentucky's going out in their first game in their SEC tournaments, and both teams kind of got run off the court. So that's a big thing there, and a lot of teams that weren't supposed to win their conference championships burst a lot of bubbles, mainly the Big East. So this tournament is kind of wide open, but then if you really bar it down, it's really not either. But that's why they call it March Madness and not March. This is what exactly is going to happen and deal with it.
Yeah, March. It's not March tameness,
right?
Yeah, and that's what we're here for. I mean, we're here for the madness. Here at the Ruckus, we like chaos.
Yeah,
we are agents of chaos. We're not anarchists, but maybe in the entertainment industry we are. But no, but the madness is what we're about, and that's truly what we get every year. You have these colossal titans like UConn. Houston has been touted, really all season, and the number one seeds. But Houston got knocked out by Iowa State in the Big 12 championship. Like I said, Iowa State hitting that stride. And who knows what's going to happen there. You say Tennessee. I mean, I'm interested to see what Tennessee does. I think I have them in one of the brackets going not so deep, but at least going a couple rounds in. So hopefully that is true. I did not realize that they did not fare too well in the SEC tournament. No. But also at the same time, like anytime you switch divisions or conferences, I mean, there's going to be a little bit of an adjustment period. Travel's a lot different. And especially now that everybody's, like we talked about earlier, the Pac-12 basically just not even going to be existing here soon. You're going to have some teams in the ACC that are on the West Coast. And you got teams in the Big 12 that are in the Northwest, and you've got, SEC teams, coming out of the Midwest now with Oklahoma and Texas. So travel's going to be weird. I mean, it's going to be a little bit of a mucky muck for a few years until they figure it out, until they really just honestly break everything down and just get everybody into a region bracket and do away with the conferences and some of the old money, because that's what's holding up a lot of it. But yeah, that's what we like, man. We like madness, and we're here for it. In the coming years, we're here for this year. So, so kind of on that first topic, I like this stat. It's a little bit wacky, dude. But yeah, what's this insane stat that you got?
So, hey, Sol, thanks for joining as always. It's always a pleasure having you around. And but yeah, since 2004, in week 6, if the team was in the top 12. One of those teams went on to win the national championship 100% of the time. So look up if you want to go all the way back and look at in week 6 of this year. That will be your national championship, at least based off of a weird statistic that some person, I guess, was number crunching on Moneyball, went through the aggregate, carried the 4, and got with this stat. And I've double checked it, and I didn't go back too far, but it pretty much was week 6 every year since 2004. One of the teams in the top 12 at that point went on to win the national championship.
What happened in 2004 to cause this? I mean, was it Rain Man? You know what I mean? Was it Dustin Hoffman? Was he just kind of like paying attention? Was like, yeah, definitely week 6.
Right.
You know?
No, I know who won in 2005. I forgot who won in 2004. So,
yeah. But in weeks, what you're saying though is in week 6 of the season.
Right. Look at that.
The top 12 teams.
Top 12 teams.
One of
them's going to win it.
Okay. And I feel like that may be a stat that now everybody's going to be talking about, that it's kind of relevant or just out there, and then it's not going to happen. You know, it's almost like talking about a kicker's record
right
before they kick the ball.
Yeah.
Or free throw shooting. Oh, he's never missed a free throw shot. Oh my God, he missed, you know, and that's the sports jinx. That's the, you know, that kind of superstition that goes along with sports and the sports gods. But yeah, no, I love that, dude. So, I mean, how much stock do you have in this, and who of the top 12 in week 6 are you kind of interested in?
UConn, Houston, those are 2, obviously, and everyone's talking about UConn. UConn is odds on. We'll get to the odds here in a second. I've always liked Arizona all year. I don't. And Iowa State, another random statistic, no team that started the year unranked won the national championship. So your Iowa State Cyclones were not ranked in the top 25 at the beginning of the season. Now, TJ Aussenberg, I'm hoping I didn't screw up his name, but TJ's awesome. And he's got them playing right. But, you know, for Arizona, Purdue, Houston, and Connecticut, the odds-on favorite, they were in the top 12. Kentucky, which a lot of people are eyeing, I don't think, just because Louisville fan in me, unless they can just get hot all 6 games, which they could, but typically they are terrible at defense. They just do not. They get bullied around, and if the shots aren't going in, they're going to struggle a little bit. But it's hard to go shot for shot with them. There's just not that balance there that you would want. It's kind of the same thing with Houston. Houston's very much a defensive team. It's always been but they're always going to be in every game. But offensively, can you, you know, if you can't stop anybody and the fouls get mounted up, can you go shot for shot with someone? That's where Houston gets in trouble with that. But of those 2, and then Creighton as well. That's another one that was in the top 12 at the time. So Creighton Blue Jays could do it. They got close last year. So, and yes, Western Kentucky is going to win 1 game maybe.
Now, you say Western Kentucky. I'm not seeing these cats in the top 12 on that week 6.
I thought they were ranked number 9 at the time.
Unless I'm looking at 2023.
I mean, they struggled a little bit at the beginning of the season.
No, this was this year's article.
Okay, I thought they were 9. Never mind. So
yeah, so I got Arizona, Kansas, Purdue, Houston, UConn, Baylor, Marquette, Creighton, North Carolina, Gonzaga, and a little team called Oklahoma.
They were in the top 12?
They were number 11, and then Tennessee was number 12. In week 6. Now, towards the end of the season, maybe not. You know, which I mean, if this was football, I would be, you know, gung-ho about it, but basketball, we just have never really crest over that hill. We've had, you know, incredible players like Buddy Hield, and you know, quite a bit of other,
Blake Griffin.
Yeah, Blake Griffin. I can't remember the cat that's out there now, that is, you know, killing it. But anyways, we had good players, just the teams haven't been there. But a little bit of a connection though is Kelvin Sampson. So former Oklahoma coach back in the 2000s, now for Houston. With the NIL, where he can't get in trouble as far as getting sanctioned for helping players get paid or maybe kind of pay them, you know. But anyways, I'm excited for them. for them being new to the Big 12. I've been wanting them in the Big 12 for a long time because, especially in football and other sports, we have played them in some of the, not the preseason, but you know what I mean, like the non-conference games, which is pretty much preseason. And Houston has fared very well. And it was just one of those things where it's like, dude, I mean, region-wise, they're right here. Why are they not with us? You know, there are some others that, I mean, I think you should join, looking at you, Tulsa Hurricanes and some others, as well as Wichita State, the Wheat Shockers, right? From, you know, the Cinderella story from back in the day, that I believe made it to the Final Four, but unfortunately did not be able to get past that.
They lost to this little team called Louisville.
Yeah, they did.
And then the next year they basically went undefeated the whole season and lost to Kentucky. So the state of Kentucky just screwed them up with Greg Marshall and them back in the day.
Yeah. So that little town in Kansas is very thankful for Kentucky.
Right.
But yeah, no, I mean, and we're gonna get some of those Cinderella stories this year, right? We really don't know who that is as far as who is going to be coming out of the muck as far as to topple, you know, a 2 seed, 3 seed. Honestly, probably more some of those others. So, what do you got as far as upsets? What do you have for us?
Yeah, and Trey Young is who you were thinking of.
Trey Young, thank you so much. Yeah, absolutely baller.
It took me. He's awesome. So of the team, it's not really an upset. Where are they at here? Because where'd they put? Okay, so Drake is a 10 seed, but Drake is real. I really like Drake. I like the way they play. They're very balanced. That person, their coach, Diebler, I believe his name is, and he's been on some hot boards for coaching openings right now. And so he's been thrown out there. They can make a run. I know the Iowa State, but I can see where they can give Iowa State fits. I mean, obviously, they have to get past Washington State, but they can make a run as a 10 seed. At least, what I mean by run, they can at least get to the second weekend / Sweet 16. That's what I mean by that. Upset wise, typically, the reason I'm saying look at Sweet 16 if you're going to pick and really get the most points, because typically, statistically wise, there's only, as we've said, there's only 13 really of the 32 games. There's only about 13 upsets by ranking, so that's even 8-9. Okay, so it's technically an upset, but it's an upset, right? Yeah. So that of that 13, we're not talking like 15 over 2s. You know, 13 seems like a big number. When you draw it down, it's really not. And plus, 5-12 has the biggest odds of actually being an upset, even though a 9 over an 8 happens every once in a while. UAB was fun to watch, but they shouldn't have been in. They won their conference tournament. They shouldn't even be in. So really don't see
the
them.
Dragons.
The Dragons, yeah.
The Dragons, man. I would always when back in the day. Sorry, sidetrack. With NCAA football back in the day.
Yeah.
Which they're bringing it back now that they actually have the people's names. But back in the day when it was just a number. Whenever I was playing somebody that was absolutely terrible, I would pick UAB Dragons. Right. It's just still like run amok on them. But yeah, that's the third time I'm saying muck. I'm going to stop.
But yeah, Drake is one of the ones that people were talking about anyway. I'm not like the first one to come up with this crazy thing. James Madison, which is the 5-12 matchup against Wisconsin, they're pretty solid. So it wouldn't surprise me if they made maybe the second weekend there. And there was one more that I was thinking. I'd love to see Vermont beat Duke, but that's just a one and done. I don't think whoever wins that Vermont game, I think James Madison or Wisconsin one is going to beat if Vermont somehow makes it past Duke, because Duke is limping into the tournament right now. By just not
injuries or
no, they're just not playing very well.
Okay,
they're just not playing well. But
I mean, not playing hot, but I mean, sometimes teams kind of put it together.
I would like Morehead State, but Illinois is just so good right now. So
one that hasn't been as hot this year from the Big 12, Kansas.
They're injured. Their top guard and Hunter Dickinson is injured. I think it's McClure. I don't think he's going to play.
Yeah,
same thing.
Yeah, that's where Samford though. That's where Samford might have a pretty good fighting chance of pulling up an upset.
They
They have a 16.3% as far as the matchup predictor per ESPN.
And Sanford's fun to watch because they literally doesn't matter on a make or miss. They're pressing the whole time and they're shooting a shit ton of threes. So as just an outsider looking in, it's going to be a fun game to watch. It's not going to be like watching Virginia, which is even more boring than watching paint dry. On that, that's another reason why people are pissed is because for a bunch of the Big East teams should have gotten in over Virginia, even based off a bunch of other rankings, but they still put Virginia in because according to the people, they didn't have a bad loss. And I'm like,
what?
Okay.
Are you saying that there's an ACC biased in basketball?
No, there's only 3 teams that made it into the tournament from the ACC. It'd be a bias if you had like 5 or something like that.
Yeah. But with the SEC, there's always the bias in football.
Yeah. So, there's no ACC bias. The ACC sucks this year. They've been sucking for a couple years. NC State is, I know they're from the ACC and they're a Power 5, Power 6, I guess, because you count the Big East when it comes to basketball. So it's actually a Power 6 conference. And NC State went on a miraculous run. The coach was basically they thought he was going to get fired. And he went on to win the ACC championship. And basically took care of everybody, beat Duke, beat North Carolina, beat everyone you're supposed to. And they were about to fire him. And it's in the coach's contract that if he won the ACC championship, then he would be guaranteed another 2 years. So there you go. Congratulations.
Oh my God.
Congratulations, Kevin Keats. Yep. 2 years.
Good job, bud.
Good job, man. You got 2 more years. You got 2 more years. You did it. I don't know how much.
Yeah, that's what we call in the military shaming.
Yeah.
It's where you do just enough to keep the job.
Yeah. Yeah. It's called, or the Kirk Cousins. Yeah. It's just enough. Just enough to get you $100 million.
I know this isn't, the NFL, but holy shit, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a free agency.
Right.
And we're not even to the draft. There's still so much. Oh yeah.
Yeah. My top of the big, not the 9-8s. Don't focus on the 9-8s. I don't look at them. But Drake, James Madison, and possibly NC State. Now, I like Colorado State, and there's always one team from the play-in that goes on some dumb run. So if you're going to pencil someone in, probably Colorado State. Hey, Jeremy, I would love for Western Kentucky to beat Marquette. And they might. But they don't have the horses to match up with Marquette, even with their point guard out. And if it comes down to Marquette and Florida, if it comes down to Marquette and Florida, Florida's going to take that. If the point guard is not playing for Marquette, I really like the way Florida's playing right now, for what I see. So, yeah, those are my big 3 that I would say is going to could make a deep run into the second weekend or so. Is the Drake, NC State, or James Madison? But who knows? NC State might have just. A lot of times you'll have that miracle run just to make it to the tournament, and then they say thank you for coming, and you get trounced in the beginning. So
it's like teams that get too hot early. For basketball, it's a whole different kind of season. But for NFL, it's like they're getting hot like week 5, week 4. I don't know. We'll see. Right. So maybe same with this one. Hey, they get hot. Maybe a month before the conference championship, they buzz through, they win that conference championship. But, are they really burning themselves out? Are they exhausting? Are they really taking the time to rest? And usually the teams that haven't been there a whole lot before don't really know that kind of pattern. They really don't have that routine down, and they haven't figured it out. And so that's what leads to injuries in that first game or two, or even just, absolute exhaustion, or even just getting the lights kind of shine a little bit too bright for them to where their anxiety or their adrenaline's running too much, and they're really not focused. So that's the beauty of it. And every time, really now with the NBA and how it's structured, every 2 years, we're getting a whole new team. Very, very rarely, correct me if I'm wrong, are you really having solid teams for 4 years and people actually going for, that full term before leaving for the NBA.
That's why Caitlin Clark is the biggest star in all of college basketball. It's for that reason, is because they don't stay all 4 years. Right. Yeah. She broke all the records and all that, but you have like Haley Van Lith and Angel Reese they're more on people's sports mind than anyone else. Like Connect for Tennessee, or Antonio Reeves for Kentucky. I mean, because Houston, like, they're just a bunch of dudes that go out there and play as one. There's really not like that, that superstar. Same thing with, I mean, UConn's got some dudes, but there's just not like, I just read off two off the top of my head. I mean, Baycott for he's been there for a decade, so I guess he's Armando Baycott for, and then Walker for Michigan State. But again, I'm bringing up a bunch of people who are like, okay, they exist. Whereas like Caitlin Clark, yeah, you know who she is. And then Angel Reese, she was in the news last year. And then Haley Van Lith going to LSU. Like those three, are much more on the top, tip of the tongue compared to these other people that I'm
well, and they're also the superstars. But I mean, kind of to what you're saying though, your point as that some of the people that are staying for years are really making a bigger impact and not chasing the money, even though they're still getting fucking money. Come on now. I mean, let's not sneeze at $1 million for a 19-year-old. Like, come on, y'all.
They were getting paid before. This is public record now.
True. They were getting cars. They were getting taken care of.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick though, talking about UConn, over or under 1.4? No, let's say 1.5. Over under 1.5% chance that they lose to Stetson.
0.00.
Yeah, 1.3 chance actually. That's what we got. 1.3.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
I'm glad someone has faith.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Stetson's a fun group of people.
Yeah, and it may not be Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, they're making a comeback.
I know, right, dude?
Yeah, they kind of are. But yeah, no, UConn's a wagon, as they say. And they're the heavy favorite, 4-1, which is kind of crazy for out of 68 teams, you're 4-1 to win. That's just and to repeat.
Yeah.
Last time, who's the last team to repeat?
Kansas?
Nope.
No. Okay.
Florida with Billy Donovan with that Joakim Noah Al Horford team.
2008, 9,
somewhere around there. It was like around there.
Because because that was about the same time that Tebow and them were making runs and
that was like that Greg Oden, Chris Conley team for Ohio State when they were pretty good then.
Oh, man.
It's back in the day. But I was around the 08, 09, 07, 08, somewhere around there. But they went back to back on that. So yeah, it's that's how hard it is, guys. It's been that long. And it's also since 2004 now.
Right. Week 6 to do that. No. But so we talked about upsets. What about the Big East, man? I know you got this kind of in the notes. What's going on there?
So the Big East, there's a thing called Kim Pom. Okay, it's this dude that basically.
I think I've heard the songs.
Yeah.
Oh no, this K-pop. My bad.
Yeah, and I'm just Ken Pom. There you go. Yeah. Follow my statistics and you'll win.
K-pop Anonymous.
K-pop Anonymous.
Yeah,
anyway,
I'm going to give you the floor.
Yeah. So. So anyway, Kim Pom is a statistical thing that's been around that like basically shows. Oh, that's great. Get blurry. So it basically shows that of who has the best defense to offensive, how they play the game, goes through all that, and also breaks down like who are the best of these other rankings, who are the best conferences. The Big East was number 2 overall. The Big 12, I believe, was number 1. I think that was, and SEC was right there, but the Big East was number 2. The Big East only got 3 teams. ACC is a dumpster fire, and they got 3 teams. Now, the reason they got 3 teams, they got 4 technically, but they got 3 at-large bids, and NC State got their actual bids. So they got 4 teams in the tournament, 3 at-large bids. The Big East only got, so it's Marquette, UConn. Oh, who was the other one? Crap. Off the top of my head, and I cannot remember. This is great. This is good. This is good TV here, guys. Going through. It's going to pop out eventually. Creighton. There you go. So, Creighton. But like St. John's didn't get in. Seton Hall didn't get in. Villanova sucked. But like those teams were ranked higher than Virginia. Virginia got the at-large bid. And for those who don't know, there are so many conference tournaments. Whoever wins the conference tournament gets in the tournament automatically. They're kind of going to do that with the football, with the top 12 next year, and kind of do it as far as the major conference winners. They're going to do that to make sure they get in the tournament. So that's going to be kind of cool there. But of that, then there's, based on your other resume, you get in the tournament based on what you've done for the regular season, which makes the regular season worth the shit. But it still comes down to a committee of bunch of guys and there's about 20 people, and typically it's like, about Oklahoma, but no, that they typically get it right. Or at least, there's always going to be someone left out, and it's always going to be a narrative of like, they should have got in, blah, blah, blah. But most of the time, it's like they're all kind of even. They just pick one team over another. No. St. John's was ranked way higher, and they weren't even in the first 4 out. Seton Hall was ranked higher, and it didn't make any sense to me. You're looked at as statistically as the second best conference, and you can only get 3 teams in.
Yeah.
Like
and they're also like basketball pedigree.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as those programs, I mean, you got to look at them year to year. You know what I mean? So it's not like, okay, you automatically get Duke or North Carolina in, but there's a reason why Duke and North Carolina are always in it. Mm-hmm. And St. John's is definitely one of them. And Seton Hall has very much been one in the past that's, recurringly in there.
Well, St. John's hasn't made it for a while, but Rick Pitino is there now, and they've and then they've been badass.
Okay, yeah, but still, I mean, there's a little bit of that pedigree. So yeah, that's where I'm surprised to not see their names on there.
Yeah.
But then I'd like to talk about with Virginia, ACC. Just saying.
Well, and plus it's the coach who's been there. Tony Bennett's been there forever. They've won a natty. They're always competitive. It's just not my favorite style of basketball. Yep. A lot of times when Louisville's job would come open, people would, as soon as someone would go, Tony, and they're like, no, even though he wins, but it's just not fun basketball. But hey, winning's winning. It doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile, but I hope you love, but 54-40 is just not what you would want.
Okay. Well, let's get to some of the chats because they're absolutely dumb. Get out of here, Gif, you punk. But yeah, kind of to your comment though about Oklahoma. Yeah, right, Jeremy. I mean, surprisingly, week 6 they were somehow in the top 12, being at 11. But yeah, I mean, they didn't even make the tournament or make it out of the tournament. But yeah, UConn's been a really good chance to repeat, definitely. And UConn has been great about that too, because they did that in 2000s with their men and women. Winning in the same year, and I think the women repeated for 4 years. I mean, it was insane how much pedigree. Again, not to overuse the term, but I mean, just how great UConn has really been in basketball.
I mean, UConn's the only team that I can think of in the past 20 years that the men and women have won at the same time. Just because the UConn women went on that run, and UConn's always been kind of there.
Yep. And then Noah was a beast, man. He definitely was.
Yep. Al Horford's still in the league. Crazy how that works.
You say he's still in the league?
Yeah, Al Horford's still in the league. Celtics is last time I saw it.
Celtics, okay, yeah.
He's probably with some other team, but I'm pretty sure Al Horford's still in the league, still doing it.
There we go. Yeah, I have not watched hardly any NBA, but we will this year. June playoff time.
Yep.
We're doing some bracket bitches. It'll never stop.
I'm gonna throw out this weird prediction that say Sol's gonna have Miami Heat winning it all.
What? Weird. My Thunder. Maybe they're doing decent. Second in the West.
Just don't get around little kids.
Yeah, just check your IDs, okay, guys.
Yeah, check your IDs.
Statutory is not a great.
Josh Giddy.
Yeah, you Josh is out there. Okay.
No, it ain't me. Don't put that on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't you put that devil on me.
Don't you put that devil on me.
Don't you put that devil on me. Hey, look.
We are correct about what? Probably the Miami Heat.
Hey, right. Yes.
Not statutory. Good.
Yeah.
Cut that.
Wait, I'm gonna gatekeep and say I only care about Joshes that were born in the United States. I'll put it that way. There you go.
There's still a shitload of people, dude.
I know.
Yeah. Anyways, anything else on ACC biased on the Big East? Kind of get a little bit of that snub with PimCon June?
No,
No?
it's
Okay.
pretty much.
Yeah. All right, man. Yeah, kind of one of the last ones. At least as far as per the notes. Yeah, you said in the past 10 years, the team that won the Natty played for the conference championship. What exactly do you mean by that, bud?
So, if the both teams that play for the conference championship, one of them went on to win. If your team did not play for the conference championship this year, they probably will not win statistically. Of the past, since it's kind of like the 2004 thing. Same
So for
thing.
Oklahoma, you're saying there's not a chance.
No.
Okay.
No. There's not.
There's not.
There's not a chance. But hey, for years, people thought the 16 seed would never beat the 1 seed, and I think that there's been 2 upsets of the 16 beating the 1 the past 6 years, which is still crazy based on how long it's been the 64-team tournament with the 16 seed. So that's always crazy there. No, I did not go to Nebraska for that, by the way. There was a battle of the Joshes, and we're actually out there with LARPing.
Was there really?
With LARPing sticks, yeah.
Were they joshing around?
Oh, totally. We were joshing of all the Joshes. And we were all born in 88 to 90. It was crazy. I was in 87.
That's weird.
It's
a really popular year.
I don't know. But yeah, no.
Too much cosmopolitan. Top 10 names.
Yeah. But no, that's a weird statistic that I saw there. So that's the thing. It's like the Tennessees and Kentuckys. They didn't play for their conference championship, so that means they're done. They're not going to make. It doesn't mean they make the Final Four. Just saying they don't win the Natty. So when you fill out your bracket, don't have that statistic in the back of your mind being like, well, they're going to lose the first round because of that statistic. No.
So they had to play for the conference championship.
Yep.
And they had to be in the top 12.
Week 6.
Week 6. Okay. All right.
So for those who are keeping track, UConn won their conference championship and they were in the top.
See, here's my question: did they win the Natty Ice? Ha! I like it. I like it. Soul coming in with the mom jokes.
Hey.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I got a coworker. He loves my dad jokes, dude.
Yeah.
He literally balls up his fist in so much anger. And I just eat his disdainment. I'm just like, oh my God, you hate this joke so bad. Love it. Yeah. But anyways, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like that though. I like the stats. I like the numbers. Kind of leans on the side of superstition, maybe.
Stats are not superstitious.
Look, but some of those are superstitious.
Because they go back to a certain time and then they stop.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, they're just kind of. It's like a trend up until it's not. So we'll just focus on this. I mean, 2004, 20 years.
20 years.
Yeah, I get it. That's great. That's a long time. But again, once we kind of start focusing on those details, I really think it's just going to start changing. And then what do you got?
Yeah.
Well, 2009, the ones that played on a holiday in week 12, a majority of them went to the Final Four. It's like, okay, just chill the fuck out. I like it. I'm here for it. It makes for, at least content on the show.
Right.
But at the same time, I am not going to be Rain Manning this shit just to try to fill up my bracket.
No.
Yeah, I'm not going to have these numbers kind of flying at my head.
I've only won 4 bracket pools ever.
Yeah.
And I'm old. And I was doing it for quite some time.
I think I've won 3. So,
yeah. So,
my year to tie you, bud.
Yeah.
Got the gold cup. Going back to back, baby. Feeling good off that perfect bracket.
Whatever. And if I would have found out, I would have won the Oscars thing if I knew it was a tiebreaker.
Oh my God! Right? Yeah. Yeah. If I realized that we actually created an Oscar pool after I put my bracket in the general deal. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, that's right. No, potato. Anything else, bud?
Other than moving on statistics, but the odds-on favorites. I will show you that throughout the bring this up here. For those, let me flick on the right one. There we go.
Yeah.
All right. So these are different sports books. So that's why you see different numbers ahead of you. But yeah, Connecticut, Houston, Purdue. Connecticut being a 4-1, 6-1, 6.5-1, and then you get the 14-1. So that it has a drastic drop there. And Iowa State, I can tell you right now, 2 weeks ago they were not that favored, and then they went on the run. And so sometimes it's nice to ride the hot hand, especially in their bracket. They could possibly do it. The only problem with Iowa State is they're in UConn's bracket. And I would be interested to see how they do against Drake. If Drake beats Washington State. If Washington State beats Drake, then who cares? We can move on. And Iowa State's there. So, and Illinois is playing really well too. And they basically play kind of the same style as Iowa. And they're pretty hard nosed. So with that, then you've got Auburn, and then you kind of get into Creighton and Marquette around the same. Duke. I'm surprised Duke's ahead of no, they're not ahead of Kentucky. Why they have the 25-1 over here? And I guess Kentucky's got some other ones. But yeah, I would have Kentucky ahead of Duke by a mile right now. Illinois being ahead I don't like Duke's. Don't pick Duke based on these. Long story short, I don't like Duke at all.
What do you think of Baylor? Former championship team, of course, not the same team from 4 years ago. So
they can probably make it Sweet 16, but I just don't see them having enough. They don't have enough horses.
No.
To do much.
Well, they're Bears, so they don't have any horses.
They don't have there's not enough mama. There's not enough Winnie the. Nope. There's too many Cubs. There you go. Too many Cubs. Come on,
too many Cubs. Not enough mamas in the den.
Right.
St. Mary's. That's a 5 seed.
Yeah, St. Mary's. They beat Gonzaga in their. They finally beat Gonzaga in their conference. So they couldn't, again, I don't know. St. Mary's is fine, but they've never been like, oh my God, they can make a run.
Right.
I'll sit there and you're probably going to pull this up like you did during that one bracket thing that I did with Sol. You're going to bring this up being like, oh, you said that they sucked. And I'm like, oh.
Oh yeah. It's because that was, I just pulled some random clip out.
Yeah. Gotcha. You made it up. You have good editing skills. You made it up.
Look, the AI editing is not that great, bud. No, I asked about St. Mary's because they're 5 seed, right? So 5-12 historically one of the more common upsets. Then playing Grand Canyon, I don't know. I think they're on the rise, bud.
Grand Canyon's fun.
It's a flyover. I actually haven't visited it yet.
They have the highest acceptance rate of any school you actually attend to. They just accept they accept everyone.
What are they, DeVry University?
They're very new. That's what I read that somewhere. I don't know. I could be totally off on that.
That is hilarious.
But yeah, they have like the highest acceptance rate of any school you actually attend. That's why I put out the University of Phoenix part.
Yeah. Jim Carrey from Yes Man apparently is like the dean of Grand Canyon. Yes, you could come here. Yes, we'll give you a free ride.
Yeah. So,
but hey, maybe that positivity will transcend to the basketball team, and they will say yes, we can, and they will beat St. Mary's. Probably not, but we can try.
Yeah, I mean, of these, I'm more leaning towards Houston. I know they didn't have the best Big 12 championship game against Iowa State, but hey, guess what? The Anthony Davis 2012 Kentucky team that looked unbeatable lost to Vandy in their conference championship and then cruised to and then UConn, like I said, just a wagon. But if you want to try and put a future, as they call it, I'll throw a little bit at Iowa State just because of the run that they're on. I don't think that they're good enough, but crazy things that happen because it all comes down to how it all kind of plays out. So you could make a run to at Florida Atlantic, San Diego State were like a 9 and a 7 seed or something like that last year, and they made it to the Final Four.
Yeah, but do you see Iowa State going over Illinois? I don't.
That's the tricky part, is because if Illinois has that go-to guy in Shannon, and he's the best. He's going to be the best player on the court if they play. We don't know that. And now TJ is a good enough coach to where he can probably scheme around and maybe out coach Illinois, but they're not as good. They're not as talented. So it just kind of comes down to that. And Illinois is pretty physical, but I think if you can do what they did to Houston, who is one of the most physical teams, that shows me you could do that. I don't know. If Drake gets past Washington State, and also too, Iowa State's one of those 2 seeds where they cruise, they go and they do real well in the conference championship, and then they just forget how to play basketball. Week 1. I mean, look at Kentucky when they lost to St. Peter's as a 2 seed. I mean, they looked unbeat. They were on fire on all cylinders, and then they ran into St. Peter's. It happens. Yeah. That's why it's the madness.
Well, because you put everything you have into that, and then you just don't have, that rejuvenation.
Right.
I mean, like you peak too early, right? I mean, it's those the people that know in high school that wear their hat backwards and wear hoodies. By the way, dude, we're kind of opposite twinning right now.
I know.
Because I got a little bit of that, going. You got the the Deadpool that looks kind of the same. So yeah, man.
Yeah, there you go.
We're doing good, man.
Yeah,
like it. Yeah. Anything else betting wise or
no? That's pretty much all I got. Yeah. As far as Auburn, I'm not the person to ask about Auburn. I'm not big on Bruce Pearl's offensive scheme, which is here, you take it. Now I pass to this guy, then he sees what he can do. Then you pass to this guy, and he sees what he can do. He's a good coach. He's a hell of a motivator. And his defenses are always going to be fine. But I just don't like his offense at all. But hey, if they can play good defense, and they're going to be in every game. So yeah, they totally destroyed Florida, but Florida's been okay all year. So I just have a weird bias when it comes to Bruce Pearl. But but that's just me just being clouded by, I just don't like his style of play.
Yeah. So. I'm just going to blame him on the SEC.
Yeah, sure.
I don't like it. What I'm not going to blame it on is Brennan Marr.
Hey,
ooh, Brennan Mystical Marr. Hey, updated handle. Hello there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, here's about how, Auburn, the SEC championship, like talked about. Grand Canyon does advertise everywhere. Sure, but I actually won, so sucks to suck. What are you talking about? Actually won what? And he eventually found it eventually.
The Cubs reference. I know what she was talking about.
Oh, the Cubs. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. I was like, my keys?
No.
I mean, I did find those. Thank you.
Oh, there you go. The last little thing Jeremy said is I had trouble.
Oh, yeah.
With how badly I lost the big. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of the same thing.
It's a factor.
Auburn basically won the SEC championship by 20. But sometimes when you realize the game's out of this is just a little nugget. If the coaches think the game's out of way and they don't want to push their players, maybe they held back a little bit because of the tournament.
Yeah. Knowing that they could have another 8 games to play.
6.
If they're playing, but yeah, including that one.
Oh, the Oscars bracket. That's what she was talking about.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude, yeah. Yeah, totally won. Good job. Yeah, that's right. Suck it, Jason.
That was me.
I know. I'm still just going to say suck it to Jason every time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you have to we have to hit our quota.
Boom. Yeah, man. But, I mean, do we want to go through anything on the bracket? Is there anything else? I mean, we're sitting at 45 minutes. So we're actually doing pretty good on time.
Yeah. So a couple things I do want to pitch. And I might have said it before, but a couple things I do want to hit on is, as far as historians out there, last year, of the Final Four teams, one is not in the tournament, which is Miami, but the other ones were UConn, Florida Atlantic, and San Diego State. Guess what? Only one of those teams can make the Final Four because they're all in the same region. So that's just kind of crazy how that worked out. The East region, I think, is the hardest region. Just throwing that out there. On that, I think Kentucky probably will make the Elite Eight unless they get in their own way, which they've done before. Because I don't see any Marquette. I don't see And if they play Florida again, I see Florida. Florida did beat them at Rupp at the beginning of the season, but they were on fire. So I see probably Kentucky getting to the Elite Eight against Houston. And if Houston plays Kentucky, I think Houston's gonna run them at the gym because of how they play defense on that. But if Kentucky, they're the best offensive team in the country. I think they're the best offensive team in the country. So let's just see if offense wins championships. And most of the time, you can't put it together for 6 games in a row. But But a lot of people are taking Kentucky to make a Final Four. So
and definitely the Elite Eight. You know, looking at some of these, but I mean, they got Houston, Kentucky. I really do like UConn, Illinois. I like that pick. Just kind of looking at the bracket. This one does have St. Mary's going into the Elite Eight against Arizona. That one, I don't know. We'll see about that one. Very well could happen, but I think then Purdue and Creighton. So that is Matt Norlander's Elite Eight right there. Anything in there that you sticks out that you think is absolute bullshit?
I don't. Until Purdue and Tennessee show me, at least until Purdue shows me they can make an Elite Eight, it's hard for me to put them there.
Yeah.
It's something about Purdue and Tennessee. Those two coaches are allergic to being successful when it comes to March. Purdue's never made a Final Four, especially with Matt Painter, and Rick Barnes has made one Final Four, and that was back when Carmelo Anthony, as a true freshman, won a national championship.
Dude, yeah.
So it's been a while since that.
Been a while.
But yeah,
I still want to make that a soundbite.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm still with you from what I'm seeing here. McNeese is a very well coached team with Will Wade.
Okay.
So I did see that. So that you could honestly see McNeese versus Samford in that second game because Kansas is limping into the tournament. I mean, limping into the tournament, not just a figure of speech. And Gonzaga is pretty down this year. And McNeese has won 30 games.
Okay.
So,
all right.
And he was a former LSU coach, and then he got caught for cheating, was a show cause. This is his first season back, and he'll probably not be McNeese State's coach next year. He'll be
over under 25% chance for McNeese to win.
Yeah, over.
You saying over?
Over.
Just under 24.3 though.
Yeah.
Per the ESPN matchup predictor, but still, that I compare. I mean, that is high. I mean, as far as upset potential.
Yeah, I know I didn't put them before, but
yeah,
I was just saying Samford and McNeese. They could be a Sweet 16. One of those two.
I love the madness of a 4 and 5 right next to each other losing, because then you're going to have a 12 or 13 advance into the 16.
Yeah, if Hunter Dickinson if Hunter Dickinson and their other guy is out, that will be that. It might be like a 5-point. They might not. McNeese might only be a 5-point dog going into it on there. And then, like I said, not against. I mean, Samford. Sorry, Samford might be like a 5-point dog. Like they might only be only favored to only looked at to lose by 5. But yeah, that's intriguing. Is that McNeese Samford potential to the playing for a Sweet 16 there?
Dude,
now,
I really like that.
Yeah,
and they're giving they're only giving Samford 16.3% chance of upset.
McNeese is better.
McNeese actually has a better odds, and honestly, I feel like looking at Kansas and the situation they're in, as far as the injury wise, like I would go with Samford. So, dude, I like that. I like that chaos, bro.
Yeah,
chaos magic.
But yeah, it'll probably be. South Carolina's not one to screw with, but I just like it might be Creighton Purdue, like you said. It's just looking at it.
Dude, yeah. Sorry. We can put some of these up. Let's catch up on the chat here. Dude, I like this one because Duquesne. Because I just wanted to say their name earlier. Whenever I saw it, I was like, oh, dude, that's just an awesome name. But yeah, congratulations, guys. Shout out from Jeremy as well as us. First time since 1977. Dude, let's go. Unfortunately, you're going against BYU.
Yeah. Other than the teams that have made the tournament for the first time, this is the longest drought that a team has made it from their last appearance.
Right.
So
yeah. But yeah, WK is going to win. So Marquette doesn't have to worry about Florida.
I like our coach, but
Yeah.
I've watched Marquette enough. But I will easily eat my words.
For those that do not follow the channel, why are you and Soul so freaking gung ho about WKU?
Because we both graduated from there. It's our alma maters.
Ooh.
It's alma maters.
I don't know. You're fighting to song.
Stand up and cheer, but I'm not gonna. Soul used to play it all the time when she was in college.
Oh yeah.
I used to sing and clap.
She probably still sings it. Probably still plays it and sings it in her sleep.
Right.
Yeah. Bias towards Marquette. Since Wade went there. I mean, you're not wrong, man. And that's probably the struggle for Soul.
Right.
Yeah, same for that. Went there. Same. Yep. Yeah, Samford. Good correction. Gift. What are you doing? Just shut up. Trust in Houston. Stand up and cheer. Get it right, Josh.
I said stand up and cheer.
I don't know. I just wanted to yell because it had exclamation points.
I said stand up and cheer.
But yeah, I mean, looking at this, when we talked a little bit about the upsets. Let's do this. How about I give you a couple of hypothetical matchups, right? That could happen. Texas versus Tennessee, battle of the T's.
Tennessee.
Ooh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't like Texas at all.
I don't
trust them as much as Gift doesn't trust Houston.
Yeah, well, you know what? As an Oklahoma fan, I tend to agree with you, but also whenever it comes to tournament time, dude, I cheer for every Big 12 team. Yeah, I mean, I think that could be a good matchup. I have seen it in some brackets where they have, as far as predictors, where they have Texas going over Tennessee. Mm-hmm. Like you said, Tennessee had a little bit of trouble in the tournament. Is that right? As far as the conference tournament,
they got beat by they got ran out the gym.
Yeah. All right. How about this one? Let's go Alabama versus North Carolina. 1 versus 4.
I don't think Alabama's going to make it there.
You think St. Mary's knock them out?
St. Mary's, Charleston can do it. Grand Canyon can do it. They can't stop anybody. They cannot defend for crap. You talk about limping into the tournament. Alabama has not looked good for a month.
Like it.
The time you're wanting.
Was that on your list for one of the upsets or potential upsets, or?
Yeah, Alabama's a team where they're well enough coached to where they could right the ship. So I'd sit there and be like, yeah, I think Charleston can beat it, and then St. Mary's or St. Mary's Grand Canyon can beat them, and then because long story short, if North Carolina plays Alabama, North Carolina's winning that game.
Yeah.
So.
Yep, I like that. Yeah, I mean that's kind of like a few of them just kind of looking at it. That I thought were kind of like a little bit of interesting setups.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of potential. I mean, could we have a record-breaking number of upsets in this tournament?
Possibly.
For me, liking to watch things burn, I hope so. Hope we get there.
Yeah.
Do you know what the record is?
For what?
For most upsets in a tournament.
Do not know that off the top of my head. I do know this. Most of the time, like I said before, if you pick an upset, typically on how the points work and how the scoring works, the further you have a team go, the more points you get for getting that correct. So therefore, strategery, just pick all chalk unless you think that that upset team is going to make it into the Sweet 16.
Now, what are you saying? All chalk. Explain that for the
all favors.
Beautiful people.
Yeah. Also,
going by the numbers.
Go by the numbers. If that number next to the left of the team is lower than the team that they're playing, and unless you think that like Charleston's going to make it Sweet 16, or Nice is going to make a Sweet 16, or Samford, as Jeremy pointed out, and unless you think they're going to make a Sweet 16, it's probably best to pick the favorite, or the smaller numbered ranked team, because of it won't be much of a detriment, and and the odds on, as you were saying, yes, was it 24% that McNeese could be in, which is high,
Yeah.
but still it's under 30. So
Yep.
in theory, I know it's boring, but I'm just telling you on how to win your pool as a person who hasn't won one since we started this damn show.
Yeah. All right. Well, here we go. Let's get caught up. Yeah. Jerry cheers for every Big 12 team as well. Besides Texas. I get you there, bud. A fellow Okie. So shout out. Don't trust Tennessee at all. Well, I don't trust a whole lot of people that live in Tennessee currently.
Then why am I here?
Well, why do you think I'm pushing the buttons? Because I don't trust it. No, I'm kidding. Definitely, we can trust Josh in bringing the ruckus, but also like running all these shows, dude. Because you guys got game dudes coming up, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got Ruckus wrestling again. Yeah, we got quite a bit.
And then we're working on having a guest on from another channel to do a WrestleMania preview. So stay tuned for that. That's in the works.
Yep. Here's Soul saying that's boring. And then there's probably the most upsets I've done to watch it backfire me. I may possibly. So kind of to that though. So this is 2016. There was 10 upsets.
Okay.
Yeah, and again, like you said, technically, a 9 over an 8 is an upset.
Yeah.
This was a 15 seed, a 14 seed, 13, a 12, a 12, 11, 11, 11, 7, and a 10. Dude, that is crazy. I love that. 2016. I think I do remember that bracket. And I remember absolutely hating it. That was one of the Wichita State years.
So that was the UConn year then? That was when UConn won it. If Wichita State
2016, possibly.
That was Shabazz Napier, maybe, with Round Boat, right?
Yeah.
Kentucky.
1990 had 10 upsets. 2018 had 11. 16, 13, 13, 11, 11, 11, 11, 9, 7, 7, 9. Right. So,
yeah.
But also the 7s were against number 2 seeds. So I'm guessing they made it to the next round, and then that was the big upset there. But yeah, 2013, 11 upsets, 2011, 11 upsets. Good symmetry there. 2006, 11, 2002, 11, 1986, good year, baby. 12 upsets, 2014, 13 upsets, 1985, 13 upsets. And that's the most. So those two tied for the most. 13. Can we beat 13, guys? Can we break it?
That's as we said at the beginning of the show. That was one of the statistics. And thank you, Tushka, for showing that wasn't just some random fodder I read on the internet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the 13 upsets is the most that's ever happened.
I just don't know if we can beat that. That is insane.
That's tough.
Yeah, I mean, looking at that. Tough. I mean, now, to be fair, there's quite a bit of 8. So 1985, there are 4 8-seed teams.
Right.
But, I mean, even if you just jump back to the 12s, a lot of double digits. So it can happen.
Yeah, it can happen.
But we'll see.
And plus, with the transfer portal and the advances in modern sciences, you never know what can happen.
And their high level of income. I mean,
right, and their high level of income.
Yeah,
I say we can get to 17, 18.
Yeah. What do you think is going to play a bigger role in kind of how consistent teams are going to be? NIL or the conference changes? I think both of them are going to be negative. Not that it's bad that it's happening, but it's transition. Like they're still trying to figure out NIL. There was a really good interview with Saban, Nick Saban, former coach. That's so crazy to say. Former coach of Alabama, and an absolute monster in NCAA football. Terrorized everybody, especially my Oklahoma Sooners. And now they get terrorize us in conference. But he said, and actually it was more so his wife was saying that the meetings now with the parents, they're not asking about like how they're going to help their child develop. They're asking about the money.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've got a lot of these kids probably come from small towns, inner city. and this is their ticket out of that situation. But at the same time, that shouldn't take precedence over maturing young adults. So I think that's kind of a little bit of a factor. Not that they shouldn't get paid, but that should be kind of like a byproduct of it. That should only be part of the equation,
Right.
not the main focus. And so I don't know, kind of to that, it really kind of opened up. I don't know, just got me kind of thinking a little bit as far as what are the ramifications of what is going on right now with NIL, but then also with the conference changes, because like we talked about travel, also you're just going to have a lot of different money getting influx. You're going to have a lot of different situations. You got coaches now leaving, so we got a little bit of a changeover. But anyways, what are your thoughts on any of that before we wrap up?
So the NIL, he made a good point, but being a Nick Saban who makes like $20 million a year and everything like that, like, did he not go to Alabama and be like, how well, okay, cool, but how much are you going to pay me? Like, how much resource are you going to give me? How much this? How much
is that? The reason why he didn't return?
Right. But it's the reason he didn't return is because he didn't have as much control as he used to. Because let's be straight here. Dave was getting paid. Okay. It was the biggest unkept secret. But they just were able to keep everyone at bay. But now that it's legal, and right now it's people still trying to figure out how it's going to all play out. There is going to be regulation eventually. It's not going to be by the NCAA, because anytime the NCAA tries to do something, they go to the court and get it knocked away. Okay, so the NCAA is slowly, as far as their governance, is going away. So, and the main thing I think right now is we need to figure out, if they're trying to do two things at once, but I don't think the conference realignment stuff is going to stop here for the next 3-4 years. And we might, I doubt we will, but as far as there should just be, football makes so much money. And it's just, you just feel bad for the other athletic programs, not just the basketball, not just the football, but like lacrosse.
Yeah. Gymnastics
and like
soccer.
Soccer. How are you gonna budget that out, right? So that's where the real money issue comes in, because the NIL is technically not a university funded thing. They're all booster based, so they can put. So if you have rich enough boosters like Texas A&M or something like that with that oil money, they could put as much into that pool as they want. It still doesn't help the revenue for the actual collegiate thing that has to pay on all these airfares and stuff like that. So that's where the issue is. And also with NIL and the transfer thing, when you have like an Alabama or something, one or two things are going to happen. When they're a they're a 5-star kid coming out of especially for football, not really basketball, because they're a top 5 kid. They're going to go to one school. They're going to play for 1 year. They're going to leave. And I'm talking to NBA, not, and if on that. But for football wise, if they are a 5-star kid, let's just say that, they're probably going to go to the highest bidder, right? And then they go there and they're not that good, so they don't get on the field. They're going to like, screw that. And then they go to another school, right? So they never stay there to develop, as you would say.
Caleb Williams, Spencer Ratliff. Yeah.
All those type of players. And then you have also, or you get a better 4-star kid, still pay him some money. They know where they are in the pecking order, so you can develop those 4-star, 3-star kids while also hitting the transfer portal. That's kind of what Louisville's strategy is. That's what these mid-tier teams are in the Power 5. Whereas, because if they're good, and let's just say they're a 4-star kid, and then they come in there and they kill it, and they're that good, Ohio State's going to come knocking at the door. So it's just hard to figure out how and where you're going to spend your resources. And I think that NIL is going to be solved a whole lot quicker than the conference realignment, because there's a lot more politics and lawyers and stuff that involves with that. So it'll take longer for the conference realignment. I think in the next couple of years they will at least have some type of structure, whatever that may be, but at least we're on the right path of getting that structure and nailing it down, because boosters will get pissed about paying these kids straight out of high school that aren't worth a dick, but they were great on film.
Yep. Well, and then also paying the kid for 1 year and then they
Right.
leave. Like you
That's
said,
the
kind of
that's
like
the
basketball.
thing. But you
Yeah.
can't. But because it's an outside booster and it's supposed to be paying for their name, image, and likeness, which is an advertisement thing. You can't really sue the kid because then they're going to open up that can of worms of really how you paying them. So they can't sue the kid.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a whole lot of back alley stuff. This is Wild West,
Yeah.
which fun for me because we like madness, but you know.
Yeah, and we're broke as shit. So,
right. So I'm not getting any of it, and I'm not helping.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's such a great culmination, or it's almost like the pinnacle of old money and new money. Because now you have these kids, a vast majority of them minority, vast majority, African American or black, getting millions.
Mm-hmm.
Where before they would get pennies or they would just get free, write-offs. Yeah, they would get cars, they would get, consultant jobs, things on the side. But getting this money, and then you have all this old money with the Big 12, with the Pac-10 or 12, kind of, getting kind of. I mean, the Big 12's sticking around, but they're going to dissolve eventually. It's just going to implode with a lot of these conferences. They're just not really built to sustain, I think, in kind of this modern era of sports or collegiate sports that we're going into.
If I'm an AD with this new situation that's going around, what I would do is pump a bunch of resources, opening up a department to about money management and scare the crap out of them. Because if say like, all right, well, what's going to happen? You go through 4 years, maybe 4 years, and 1% of every player that's playing in NCAA football right now is going to make a professional team. Okay.
Yep.
So I'm not saying that you can't do it. I want you to. This is what I would say to the kids. But chances are that money that we're paying you right now, then you jump to this school, you jump to that school, and jump to that school just to make a payday. At the end of those 4 years, what have you learned for the next step in your life?
Yeah. What have you saved? What have you invested?
What have you saved? What have you done? So, all that.
Yeah.
And if
what
you can
equity
scare,
have you accrued? Yeah.
Now I'm not saying it's going to work for everything. Nothing is foolproof, but at least pump enough in there to not only scare them straight, but point them in the right direction. And that's where, unfortunately, the development is going to have to start at this point.
Yeah. Well, and you're also going to have role models. Yeah. And I think we're really seeing a lot of them emerge to where they are being, more money sound as far as their actions. But yeah, it definitely has to come in the form of education. Really, it should be going in high school. We learned how to write checks in 5th grade, and then we didn't learn shit after that. No. I mean, then it was all about, ACT prep and everything to get ready for college, not to get ready for life. So hopefully that is a little bit different now that, I'm close to 20 years removed from high school. But yeah, man, I mean, yeah, I just think it's fascinating. Kind of seeing a little bit of that chaos, like in an entertainment sense. Yeah. But for these people's livelihoods, I really love seeing them get their bag. For those that have had 20 bags, like you talked about, as far as, Saban, hey, thanks, adios though, because things are different and the way you're going to manage players and inspire them is going to be completely different. Look at Coach Prime. And it's funny because Prime and Saban being in commercials was literally like a walking, visualization of an oxymoron. I guess one's an oxy, the other one's a moron. I don't know. but anyways, yeah. So I'm really interested in kind of seeing what this looks like, and as well as what the conference championships, or not conference championships, but just conference mergers, closures. I think it's going to be soon. It's going to be a thing of the past, as well as the bowl games. The bowl games have really held a tight grip as far as those organizations kind of on the playoff program. But then also you got 13 people making decisions, just like in the NCAA for Selection Sunday, you have 20 people making decisions. And are those people qualified? Do we even trust those people? And what is motivating those people, and what are they profiting from?
Right.
That's the big thing. And that is where, the power regimes are adjusting to be able to work with that new and old money to manage a lot of those relationships. Because if you just let things go in the natural order of things, it's not going to fare out well for old money. And honestly, it may not be as beneficial for the new money because they might not be setting themselves up for longevity. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Yeah, please keep the Pop-Tart Bowl. Hey, if they keep sponsoring, I still miss the Crucial.com Humanitarian Bowl. That was one of my favorites.
Pop-Tart Bowl was definitely the gem of this past year.
What about Puppy Bowl though? What about Puppy Bowl? Yeah, same solo. Oklahoma doesn't care about education. Wait, what the fuck are we talking about? We getting into politics now? Okay, yeah, just saying, yeah. Well, neither did Missouri. All right, but at least at that time. And I think a lot of this, hopefully we're learning from mistakes instead of perpetuating, not really nepotism, but just bad systems and procedures. And a lot of it's just who benefits from it, right? I mean, with the immunizations in schools back in the day and the attendance records, that's how they got paid. So that's where they made it, they kind of forced it upon you. Even if you had a seizure to the immunization that I did whenever I was young. Bracket bitches, we like the madness. I like it.
Yeah, guys, back when me and Tushka went to school, we were walking uphill both ways, 12 feet of snow.
Yeah. I'd like how you put 2 Ds on madness.
That's just shout out to John Madden. Let's put it that way. Yeah,
John Madden. I was thinking of Michael Madsen.
There you go.
2 Ds on that one, double Ds. Maybe Dolly Parton.
There you go. I was figuring you were. I was thinking when you said that. All right. Yep. Well, okay. I think that's a good way to end it.
I think so too. Let's hit it on some objectivity.
Yeah, innuendos.
Yeah, innuendos and in your window and all up in your window.
Phrasing.
Hey, thank you guys so much for joining us. That was dumb, but hey, it was a lot of fun, right? Yeah. So, Josh, I'm going to send it over to you, bud. What can they do to help us out, and where can they find us?
Oh, they can find us on patreon.com/RuckusEV. They can also find us on the YouTube channel that you are seeing right before you of our beautiful faces. You can also catch us on the Discord over on Discord. Everyone's over there. And also, if you like Catan, so a group of us get together and play that. So that's always a nice little fun little hangout there as well. You can also catch us on our weekly shows, as Chuck alluded to, with Game Dudes and Ruckus Wrestling and random bracket battles that we do on the weekends with AA Ron. And then also, as the madness continues, so will our Two Faces on Monday nights. So that's kind of the plan going forward. So we always subscribe. Obviously, the Streamlabs. What's that?
Streamlabs.com/RuckusEV.
There you go. To help us out as we grow this channel and see your all's other beautiful faces in the chat, and then also let us know, hey, if you're joining the Patreon, if you have a show idea or something like that, throw us by us. We would love to have you on and make this channel the amazing thing that it is. Yeah, dude. Let's keep growing. Let's keep progressing. Let's keep moving forward. And hopefully you guys are doing that in your own life, and you all have a great week. Enjoy the crazy weather. I know for here in Oklahoma, it is going to be 32 degrees tomorrow, and it was just 80 degrees a couple of days ago. So my allergies are great, guys. How about yours? And everybody be safe. Take care. We'll see you on the next one. Peace. I got to hit it twice.